Hello, welcome to this overnight taste challenge. Um, we have two bourbon whiskeys. This is the famous Jim Beam. They talk about 1795 on here. Yeah, the Beam distillery goes back to 1795 story. Beam, German, Beam, Bome, but they anglicized it to English Beam. Anyway, the Jim Beam brand was introduced in 1938. Okay, so that became their flagship. Um, it's aged 4 years. Should be showing this second, okay, because the brand I'm about to show you is older than this, so I'm kind of going backwards. Aged 4 years, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey from the Jim Beam Company, meaning Beam-Suntory, the Beam Company, Beam-Suntory, because they got bought out by Suntory Whiskey Company of Japan about 10 years ago. Okay, here's another buyout. This is 10 High from Hiram Walker, but it's not really from Hiram Walker because they got bought out by Barton Distilling a long time ago, and Barton was bought out by Sazerac over 10 years ago. So, but they don't mask it here. They just say Sazerac.com. Barton Distilling Company, bottled in Kentucky, Barton Distilling, and Sazerac.com. Okay, but it's not listed on the Sazerac.com website, so they give you a link, but there's no listing on the link. Oh well. So 10 High is from 1934, and it's changed over the years. It used to be like this Jim Beam. It was Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, 86 proof. I think it was aged 4 years. Then they changed it to blended bourbon after Sazerac bought it. I guess they figured, this thing it's not a good seller anyway, so let's just make it a less expensive product. It wasn't expensive to start with, but we'll make it blended bourbon. And I guess that ran for about 10 years. And now, in the last 3 or 4 years, this started showing up. Kentucky bourbon, not Kentucky bourbon, just said bourbon with natural flavors. It's bottled in Kentucky. It doesn't claim to be Kentucky bourbon. It just says bourbon with natural flavors, meaning it's probably bourbon that could be sourced from Indiana and from Kentucky and who knows where else. But probably those are your two main likely states, or Commonwealth, Kentucky. You say, oh, sometimes people tell me, Virginia or Kentucky. It's not a state, it's a Commonwealth. Do you know what a Commonwealth is? It's another word for a state. It's just a different term for the same thing. Okay. And like the British had the Commonwealth of Nations, like a state of nations. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not really a state. It's just like a club, a union or something. But anyway, all right. So, but going forward, 10 High, no age statement. We don't know what the natural flavors are. We don't know where it's distilled. We just know it's bottled in Kentucky, okay? And it's sour mash. We do know it's sour mash bourbon. But that's it. Okay, now I guess you could get Jim Beam for what? A regular bottle, $14. But I paid for my 750 milliliters. I paid, true story, $9.98. They had it on a special at Mathern, so I bought it $9.98. But that's not the normal price. Okay, my friend David was like, "Man, get me some," because he likes Jim Beam. He's like me. He's not in love with it. Like, oh, I have to have it. But he likes it. It's nice. It's a good product, and for that price, he wanted it, and he got it. And I got Evan Williams' green label for the same exact price, right around the same time. So I don't know what story was on it. All right, Jim Beam. Yeah. $12.99. Okay, so $1 cheaper. But like I say, Total Wine's always $1 cheaper than everybody else. I think what they do is they look at other people's websites and they, whatever it is, they're gonna lower it to $1. Which, if you live close to Total Wine, that's gonna really benefit you. I don't live close to Total Wine, so it doesn't do me any good. I'm not gonna drive. I'm not gonna use $7 worth. Wait, the gas. I'm not going to use $2 worth of gas to save $1, but that's common sense. Okay, so you can get Jim Beam in the PET bottle, the travel bottle. This is a plastic bottle. Or you can get it in the glass, your preference. If you're going on a trip and you want to pack it in a suitcase, it's probably better to get the plastic bottle. But at home, you want the glass bottle. It's prettier, nicer looking. But I have plastic because that's what was on special. Couple of more things. It's cheaper to buy per handle, though. You'll save money buying the big bottle because it's $22.99. So it's $23. It's even less than half the price. What I'm saying is, if you double 13, you get 26, but it would be $25.98. And you still don't get the same amount as you would get in a handle for $22.99. So the handle is almost always the way to go. Not 100% of the time, but usually so. Like the Crown Royal, I got it for $44.99 a handle with two glasses. That's a much better value than buying the regular size Crown Royal, and it's not like I'm going to waste it. It's one of my benchmark products, to use in taste challenges and whatnot. Well, that's actually the only use I have for it. But I'm not running to drink Crown Royal. Oh, I gotta have some Crown Royal. I mean, it's kind of average, kind of like this Jim Beam. It's average, but certainly credible. I don't know why people would slag on it. Some people do say foolish things. Talking about like some of these dramatic people. I call them dramatic reviewers. They're like, "Oh, it's so bad. I can't choke it down." It's like, give me a break. If you just got on your channel and said something like, "Well, that's kind of ho-hum," yeah, okay, fine. Like Budweiser beer, I've been using that example for over 10 years. They have good beer reviewers that will say something along the lines of like, "Well, it's kind of bland, but it's okay." It's a good assessment. But then the ones that's all dramatic, talking about how they can't hardly stomach it, it makes them want to barf and all of this kind of terminology. It's like, come on, man. Who you trying to fool? They're both the same color, amber. And on Alcohol Eggs, that Facebook group, when I see comments like that, somebody might post a photo of Keystone Light and say, "I really like to drink this," and other people will say, "Oh yeah, I drink that sometimes," so forth, like that. Or somebody might say something like, "Well, to me, it's kind of bland, really," but whatever they'll say. And then you'll have these troublemakers come along, like saying, or they're just ugly people, saying, "Oh, that's not beer, that's water," or something like. I just delete it. I don't even make a comment because they want attention. That's why they're saying that. They're trying to start something up. I just delete it and don't say a word. Okay. Even more ridiculous comment like, "I'd rather drink water than Keystone Light." I would too. If I was thirsty, I'll drink water. But to say they're going to drink a light beer or a beer, they'd rather drink water than a beer that they want because it's Keystone Light is silly because it has pretty good little minimal flavor. Can't say it has much, but I don't know. I guess intelligence should play a part in these reviews that people do or these comments that people make. And it's the same with politics or religion and all. You get just silliness out there. I mean, if you're just kidding around and like people are speaking in a kidding manner or jocular manner, because it's fun to joke around stuff, but that's different. But we're talking about just making foolish comments. All right, so moving on. I don't think this is going to be much of a contest. Yeah, they're both at least 4 years old. Yeah, they're both bourbon in a sense of the word, uh, for one of them. Um, but that's where this going to stop, and it's not going to be a contest. You're going to see right now. This smells kind of vacant. When I say vacant, I mean there's not much there. I did a lot of these challenges yesterday. I was rolling pretty strong. And then some people might have thought, oh, well, he's having a ripper, he's going off. That wasn't the case, though, because I was on a day off of work and I was just taking it easy and I was pacing it pretty well. I thought I did finish the house cleaning and did my budget, worked on my budget for the month. I thought about cutting my hair and my beard, not off, but then I said, nah, I'm going to let them grow long this month. I'm going to let it go for 2 months. It'll get shaggy, but that's what I felt like doing, I guess. I don't guess. I did feel like it. But then I just spaced it out. I did the Dawn Busters early, and then around 8 o'clock in the morning, I did that beer, which you'll see it posted as time comes. I got so many beers and wines backlogged. I'm just scheduled them out, have them scheduled out to post on their own. And then I did the wine, and I accidentally broke my wine glass later, putting it up in the fridge. I wanted to keep it cool, and I set it in the fridge, and I forgot it was there. And I went to pull the chicken, breaded chicken out, and I forgot it came flying out the fridge and hit the ground and broke, and all the wine was wasted. Well, it was only about 3 ounces of wine. That wasn't such a tragedy, but the glass, it was a nice little glass, and I bought it for like 15 cents at a thrift store, which caught on fire last year. Somebody set that fire, but some maniac that lives around here, true story, arsonist. But to break that glass just disgusted me. And I broke my Schlitz glass last month, also, one of them. And I hit it with my hand and it fell over. And I said, boy, I'd hate to hit this again and break it on the desk. And I mean, as soon as I said it, did it again. I don't know why I had the light off when I was doing it, and it broke. I knocked it over. I was surely sickened. All right. Vacancy, nothing bad, but nothing. There's a little more here, but there's not a lot more here. I can tell it's Jim Beam because it's got that cellar mold. Like, to me, Jim Beam smells like black mold in a cellar. Sounds appealing, doesn't it? That actually makes sense if you know about how whiskey ages, and there's a black mold. There's a black mold thing with that. And it smells like green wood, like wood that didn't cure all the way. It's supposed to be totally dried out and cured, but I don't know. It just smelled like green wood. Isn't that strange? All right, let's go with the taste. But to sit here and say Jim Beam has a lot of aroma is not correct. It really doesn't. It's pretty dull, but this one is even duller, even more dull. No, I mean, all right, here we go. Taste. I got this taste nailed down. Yeah, the sour mash brings in a little. Oh yeah, I was going back to what I told about yesterday, and at 1 o'clock I did the other beer, which was great. I thought, oh, it's a sour. I always hate those sour beers, man. But this one was a 98. It was A plus. Can you believe it? Tastes like strawberry ice cream to me. And then I did a few more taste challenges. I had 2 more beers. Milwaukee's Best Light, 12-ounce cans. Nothing, 4.1%, nothing big, But and I was watching the game. I saw Indiana getting whipped, which I didn't expect to see that, getting whipped at home like that. But that's the way it works. Okay, so this tastes like the sourdough bread or sourdough bagel, and it tastes like vanilla loose leaf paper and water, sugar water. Now, doesn't that sound good? Vanilla, loose leaf paper, and sugar water. It's like a paper taste. Sugar water. Oh, golly. There's a wood component, more of a wood component here, charred oak. But to tell you the truth, and I always tell the truth on this channel. I mean, that's the goal, right? Tell the truth. I always feel funny if I lie, and I don't, when you don't have when you're a child, a child doesn't have a developed conscience. As a child, you don't have a well-developed conscience. So you really don't care about right and wrong. As a child, wrong means you don't get caught, so you don't get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? And when a child's saying, I'm sorry, they're not really sorry about what they did. They're just sorry that they're in trouble. They got caught. But as your brain develops and you can have a more well-developed conscience, then you should, if you're not a sociopath, which is a more modern terminology for a psychopath. Some people display that kind of behavior, unfortunately. Then you would feel bad for doing wrong, even if nobody knows. And that would be like a universal standard of righteous living. Okay, so the other day, this woman told me, she saw me in a grocery store and she told me something like, why you didn't respond when I walked by, or something like that. And I said, oh, I thought it was you, but I didn't say anything because I didn't want to be wrong. Like I could have been wrong. I just said that out of my head without thinking. But later on, I thought to myself, that's a lie. I didn't respond to her because I thought I'd get it wrong. I didn't respond to her because I didn't want to talk to her. So I went and told her, I said, that's not really true what I told you. It was really that I didn't want to talk to you. And I told her why. I said, I like to be honest. And I caught you before you left, and I wanted to tell you that. And then I explained to her why I didn't want to talk to her. And she denied what she had done. I didn't do that. I said, yes, you did. And I can prove it. literally, I can prove it. I mean, you could deny it, but it's the truth. But anyway, that's an example. Like I said, I want to be truthful in these reviews. I don't want to stage them or try to manipulate the channel to where certain things seem what they aren't. You understand? Like, I could do that. Like, if it's a product that I think is terrible, I just won't put it on the channel. I could just leave it off channel and then nobody would know except me. But the integrity of the channel would be bad because you manipulate. If the thing is bad, you just talk about it. You say, hey, I mean, I did that one time, but that was really to protect somebody that was sending it to me. It wasn't really about the channel per se. And secondly, I was like, nobody cares about this beer company. It's like not popular. And it's like they never get anywhere or something. But they did send me a nice glass though, I gotta say. I don't want to mention their names, but that's another story. But it's like you want to not do that. Okay. And if I make a mistake in the reviews, whatever, I'm just going to keep it up. Say, oh, I made a mistake. I was wrong. I didn't know what I was talking about. I don't know why I said that. Okay, this tastes like sugar water too. It's not too great. I like Jim Beam. I guess I like sugar water. What I'm saying is, to me, all whiskey tastes like sugar water. I mean, honestly, Scotch, not as much, but it does. Irish, not as much, but it does. Canadian, yes, definitely. American, yes, for sure. It's like sugar water. You want to drink sugar water? Yes, sir. You said, but it's 40% alcohol sugar water. Okay, fine. But that's what it tastes like to me. Corn is a sweet. Daryl Macias says, good morning, Ronald. Good morning to you, Daryl. Okay, so yeah, if you say, well, you don't have a good taste for whiskey, if you say it tastes like sugar water, I think I do have a good taste for whiskey. I'm just perceiving something that maybe people overlook. Because I watched some videos, a lot of people seem like they're in a rush when they do the videos. And so why you not, I'm saying to myself, why are you not thinking about it? Think. It's not all about, oh, look, it's so well edited. Oh, that was a fabulous jump cut. Oh, look at the background. You got all these beautiful cans and bottles. Nothing wrong with any of that. But it's almost like, and you say, oh, I'm going to portray this whiskey. Oh, look at it. But I'm thinking, why don't you think about it for a minute? Just think about it. Think about it. Stop and think. Can you do that for me? Okay, I'm thinking. No, you're not thinking because you're too busy being a smart aleck to be thinking. Yeah. It just tastes like what I said it tastes like, vanilla sugar water. $14.99 a handle. Is that expected? Yeah, I think it is. It tells you on the thing it's got natural flavors added. And I think it's vanilla. Don't know that. Can't prove it. You say, nah, it's Duncan Hines cake frosting. That's if it was a naturally concocted thing, that'd still be a natural flavor. And it doesn't taste that different from that. Jim Beam is not flavored, but it doesn't taste that different from the one that is. So I think the deal on this, the 10 high is probably so drab. Like if they didn't add the flavoring, it would be so drab that maybe even the people that ride low on the shelf, some people only buy the cheapest stuff. It's their business. They can buy whatever they want, save money. But even they would say, oh, wait, this stuff is a wretch. So it makes it like tolerable, and then you could convince yourself that it's good. Like, well, it's good. I'm saving money. It's good. Okay. And with the added flavor, you could pretend that it is. And it is good in that sense. But in a serious whiskey hobby world view of it, no, I'm sorry, it ain't. But Kentucky straight bourbon cannot have flavoring added, so we know it had by the process of elimination or deductive reasoning, we know it cannot have flavoring. But to tell you the truth, it isn't really any worse or better flavored. So I cannot say one has a better flavor than the other. But I know that the 10 high is significantly cheaper, $14.99 versus $22.99 for the same size bottle. I don't know about you, but I would rather save the $8 and I'm not losing much. So now, would that be the case with some higher level Jim Beams? Probably wouldn't be the case. You'd have a bigger price range differential, but the Jim Beam higher grades would probably whip it, just whip it up, beat it down, knock it out. But the regular Jim Beam doesn't. Now, what about Evan Williams? I think Evan Williams is kind of better than Jim Beam anyhow, even though it's cheaper, and some people regard it very lowly. I don't. I think Evan Williams is going to do a little bit better, but we'll find out in a day or so. So the winner by price point, because the flavor is no different really with these two, not in any kind of significant way. So yeah, it's a tie on flavor. I didn't expect that, actually. I thought Jim Beam was going to be the clear and present winner, but it wasn't. Good morning to you, BC. BC's Beer Reviews. Oh, BC's Beer Reviews says good morning. Good morning back to you. And when we consider the $8 difference, 10 high comes out ahead. So it just goes to show you. I never would have thought that would happen, that 10 high would win this challenge, but it certainly did happen. So what do you know? It's a world of surprises out there with these liquors. All right, so that's it. Off to do other things, and see y'all tonight for Joker's Wild Wednesday. Joker's Wild Wednesday, and I have something to bring, but I'm not sure which one I'm going to bring, but it's going to be something. All right, bye-bye.